I still never know. I was waiting for a color to change. Anyway, yes. Hi, everybody. My name is Kenny K. Royal.
And I am Orville Peck. I'm really obsessed with him right now.
I was like, who the fuck is that?
I was telling you about him earlier today. I am really obsessed with him right now. He is a gay country singer. He's from Canada. And he wears like this whole cowboy get up. And he wears...
Fact check you real quick. Continue.
And he wears this mask that has a bunch of fringe on it. That like goes all the way... Like it's a little small like superhero mask that you see like Batman wearing. Mm-hmm. And then like it... has fringe that comes all the way down. Do you see it?
A couple masks.
Yeah, he's got a couple different
ones.
Like
to put them in pigtails.
Yeah, he does a lot. He does a lot of things with it.
Oh, this is his hair.
And
he don't wear wig.
But I really like his music. It's like I'd say it's a mix between Lana Del Rey and Elvis Presley. Mm. That's what I would say.
Is this him with his shirt off?
I'm sure it is. A bunch of tattoos. Yeah. That's him.
Yeah.
He seems like he's cute from what the little bits that you can see of his face.
So there's a bussy up on his fringe mask.
So he's going to be here next month, and I will be seeing him. I was trying to decide whether or not I wanted to do a meet and greet since I think he's cute, and I can walk up on him and be like, hey, can we go backstage and have a private conversation?
I'll go ahead and take a gander and decide if I'll go with you. Or take a listen, not a gander.
Well, yeah.
I'm already taking plenty of ganders right now.
Because, I mean, it is...
He got a nude.
Not that I know of. If you find one, send it my way. But definitely, I let Aaron listen to it a little bit. He said he dug the music. He would go with me. So you go ahead and listen, and you need to come.
I just downloaded the Birds of Prey album.
It's good. I like it.
But have not listened to it yet.
I really,
you know me. It took me a good decade before I actually started listening to shit sometimes.
I really like that Saweetie song, Sway With Me.
I'm going to probably listen to this when I get in the shower after this. And as I get ready for work in the morning. Or not work. I will not be at work tomorrow. But
you go ahead and go.
While I'm getting ready for the photo shoot tomorrow. So I love this picture that they have of him. The way the light is hitting him.
Yeah. He's got some interesting videos, too. I mean, they're not, like, story-driven or anything, but they're cute. My favorite songs from the Birds of Prey, not the Birds of Prey.
The Harley Quinn movie.
Yeah, the Harley Quinn movie is So Thick by Whipped Cream, Sway With Me, Saweetie, Jokes on You by Charlotte Lawrence, Smile by Macy Peters, and, of course, I love that... Doja Cat song, Boss Bitch.
Did you hear Diamonds? Is that Margot Robbie or is that Marilyn Monroe?
The Diamonds song is that Megan Thee Stallion song that I don't care for.
I thought it was going to be because she performs Diamonds in the movie, they said.
But it's not on this soundtrack.
Oh, well, yes, she ain't. It's going to be just her lip syncing then. Is what we're going to get from that.
Yeah. I mean, she could have sang it. It probably just didn't make it to the soundtrack. But I don't care for that song. It's Megan Thee Stallion and Normani. And it's very lackluster to me.
You have let me down already. Because of the fact that I was already hoping that it was going to be either Marilyn or, which I can go listen to at any point. Yeah. Either Marilyn or Margot Robbie.
What they need to do. Come out with Beyonce's version. Now, if they put that on the soundtrack, that is a winner.
Could you imagine, like, not even expecting it to be on there? You just listen to the soundtrack and you hear the full version.
I would be in tears.
My phone at the wall. Like, oh my God.
In tears, bitch. Because I'm like, finally. I've waited a decade for this song. Because I swear, what they come out like in 2000?
I think 2009 or 2010.
Yeah, it was like around Sasha Fierce, I'd say. So sad times. I really need for them to come out with it. Somebody needs to leak it. If you're listening to this podcast, leak that version.
But we have not been around for a good month, guys. Life events and a bunch of other shit is popping off. But I wanted to make sure that we actually get this going because I was listening to our podcast again. That's what always makes me want to get back into it. I'll listen to the older episodes. I'm like,
it's so weird because I never listened to it.
I love listening to them. I listen to only 3 podcasts now. I listen to ours. I listen to the show with Sam and Joe. And you know, Solomon has a podcast now.
Does he?
He has a podcast
what is
with
it
2
about?
of his other friends. They just talk about like just random shit like we do. They don't do pop culture things like we do so far. They just talk about like music influences so far, and then different things like that. It's very much like a straight guy podcast, I would say. But I don't say that in like any kind of defamatory way.
It's just what it is.
It's just a straight guy podcast. Like people listen to this and like, it's just a gay guy podcast.
Oh, yeah, I mean, real gay.
Very gay. Extraordinarily gay.
But you know what? True.
Yeah. I was just stating. It's just one of those things where I feel like I need to have a caveat to that because, people like to get mad about things when you state a fact. Because you know how people, like if you say, look for the black girl in the room. Why she got to be black? Because she's black.
I mean, I don't see why you get
identify something
offended by facts.
Yeah,
I don't get offended by facts. I remember there was one person, like, I was at work and this woman, she came up to me and she was like, she was an Asian woman, and how you watch those like racist movies that have Asian people in it and they sound a particular way. Mm-hmm. Well, a lot of the people in my job sound like that, and so she was like, "You black up or Islander?" And because everybody hears my name, and also apparently I look Asian, so everybody assumes that I have some sort of Asian in me, and I was like, "I'm black," and she was like, well, why you have that name?
Girl.
I was like, and then I explained to her about my whole name or whatever. And then we get to that, and then she was talking about how her and her, because we have the company picnic tomorrow, and she was like, I have no date, and I was like, you don't have a date? She was like, no date. She said, you available?
You don't have a date to go?
No. Oh. And she's like, you available? And I was like, no. I mean, I am, but I'm gay. And she was like, oh, well, you can have my boyfriend. We fight right now. It's World War I, is what she said. And I was like, oh. She was like, he working next building. You want to see a picture? I was like, so she shows me a picture. I mean, just going through the pictures of a boyfriend. She was like, yeah, this is him. You want him? You can have him. She was like, he too handsome for me. Really, he wasn't. She's a beautiful, beautiful woman. Gorgeous. Mm-hmm. Like those Asian.
Why did you say he's too handsome for her?
I don't know, because he's white, I guess. But he wasn't all that cute, to be very honest. She's a gorgeous. She's like Filipino, and like you see those Asians that be like on like anything, like you see those really beautiful Asians that got like the big eyes and whatever. She looks like that, and like she likes to take the pictures with, and she got long dark hair. Oh God, she's gorgeous. And I'm like, girl, no, he's not. Stop amping him up. This is why y'all fighting now. And so they were talking about. There was like, you want boyfriend? I was like, yeah, find me a boyfriend. She was like, we go to the disco.
All the discos out here.
I think she just meant the club, but they just kept saying disco. She said, we went to disco last Friday. We were like, pump, 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 pump. I was like, she was tripping me out. I was like, girl, her name is Melissa, I think.
Melissa Etheridge.
Because her and her sister's name is Melanie, and her name is Melissa. I was like,
one of those like names that because I've noticed a lot of Asian people give themselves like Americanized names because they know people can't pronounce theirs most of the time, or not even that they can't pronounce it, that people don't try to pronounce it, because I feel like people are very ignorant with that. I always hated hearing when somebody would tell them what their name is if they're Asian, and then it turns out they make it something that's harder to say than what they said. And I'm just like, that's very, and I won't say it's racist, it's ignorant. It's very ignorant.
I feel like people are the same way with my name. They're the same way with my name, because I feel like they look at those type of names and I think they think it's tricking them. Like, they look at it and they're like, oh, there's some more consonants and vowels in here that I'm looking at. My name is pronounced exactly how it's spelled, but people put so many more syllables in it. I'm like, there's only 4 syllables. I don't know how y'all get to 10. But it was funny, and but she was just stating facts, and I was relaying this information to someone else. And they were like, they really said that to you? I was like, it was funny.
People are so hurt.
Especially when she asked me whether or not I was black. And I was like, I don't mind people asking me that. I'd rather you ask me that than to be talking about asking other people and talking behind my back. Yeah. I'd rather you come to me and be like, okay, so what are you? And I've gotten that plenty of times, because people don't know
what you mixed with.
Boy, girl, man. They don't know what I am as far as ethnicity or anything. So I'm like, sure, ask me. I don't care. care. I'm not offended. Because we've gotten to this age and this time where people are so afraid to offend people.
Yeah.
And I'm like, let's just be open and honest. We can have an adult conversation about what you think and what I think.
Apparently people are too sensitive to have adult conversations anymore. And it's something where you don't want to trample over anybody's feelings, but at the same time, you need to get a thicker skin. Because not everything everybody says is out to get you. There are people that you know full well are trying to offend you. They make it known that they are trying to offend you.
Yeah.
So for you to take that out on somebody that's just asking a question, regardless if that's a politically correct question or not, if they're just asking a question, they don't have any ill intent behind it, or you don't, or anything like that, I don't see why it would be an issue for you to educate somebody. Because you always hear that thing of where it's like, it's not my job to educate you. But it's like, okay, but then if you feel like it's not your job to educate them, it's not their job to learn about you. That your life has nothing to do with them. I mean, if you're gonna have that mindset, then you have to be ready for somebody else to have that mindset and not giving a fuck about who you are.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is if somebody can come to me. I remember the first time I really had this type of conversation. I remember it was this guy. He was Christian, and it was back when I was in college. And he literally just came to me and was like, I want to understand, your lifestyle, basically. Mm-hmm. He wasn't being nasty or bigoted. He was just like, I just don't get it. Let's talk about it. Let's have a conversation. And I really appreciated that he was like, okay, I don't understand it, but I'm willing to try. And I feel like there's nothing wrong with that. If you can come to me and be like that, I'd much rather you be like that than come to me and be like, you are going to hell. You nasty, dirty, faggot.
Oh my God.
I hate you. I mean, I've had that, so... Yeah. If somebody can come to me in a calm way and be like, you know what, my lifestyle is different from yours, let's try to understand each other, then I don't see anything wrong with that. And I think more people need to understand that. But
I wish they did too.
Into our first topic, I want to talk about the Super Bowl. It just happened last weekend. And, of course, there's a lot of controversy in regards to it, with it being Latina. And also people saying it was too sexy.
So I didn't want to watch it in the first place. And it's not because I didn't want to watch it because I'm being Latina. I just don't really care about performances by J.Lo and Shakira. Well, I don't really care about performances from Shakira. So, I don't doubt that J.Lo can put on a good performance because the bitch dances her ass off.
Yeah.
So I wasn't worried about that. But I didn't see how Shakira's would be good. And even watching it, which, I enjoyed that full performance. But if it was just Shakira, I would have been disappointed. Because Shakira is not the best dancer. She did her stuff. I feel like she's really good at her belly dancing and everything like that. But putting her next to J.Lo, but at the same time, put anybody really next to J.Lo, and who gonna stand up? But
the thing is about J.Lo that's so mind-boggling to me is she's 50 motherfucking years old. And still doing the shit that she's doing, and still looks the way that she does. Yeah. And you can tell she hasn't had any work done.
Mm-hmm.
And
she looks fucking amazing.
Just amazing. Just somebody who's taking care of their temple,
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to Shakira, which... I don't know who's going to battle me. Seeing as we don't have a huge audience, I'm sure ain't nobody can say shit. But as of right now, I don't know if we get to the point when people start leaving comments. I don't know who's going to battle me. But I swear, Shakira was not singing live.
She wasn't. There was no, you needing to swear. That's a fact.
Yeah. Now, J.Lo was singing live.
Which I was shocked at. I was ready for J.Lo to come out.
J.Lo always sings live.
I didn't know that because I watched a bitch.
Well,
but
yeah,
I was expecting her to be like... I'm used to seeing people like her. I'm going to compare her to a Sierra and a Janet Jackson. As far as I didn't feel that her vocal range was as high as her dancing ability is until I was proven wrong on Sunday night.
Yeah.
Because
she
was doing the damn thing.
Yeah. And I was like, because when she was singing with her daughter and she came out and she was like, let's get loud. And I was like, go, girl. And so I was like, oh, she been working. Because her vocal coach is, I think his name is Stevie Mackey.
Mm-hmm.
I follow him on Instagram. He works with Selena Gomez, JoJo, a lot of people. And he can sing his ass off. I don't know why he's not a singer, because he can sing his ass off. And but he always talks about how much J.Lo works on her voice. Mm-hmm. And you can tell from that performance. And like I said, anytime you hear her, she always sings live.
I'm going to have to go back and watch the performances.
Yeah, especially recently. Maybe not in the past, but definitely now. Because you can tell there's a difference in her voice. She can do more. Mm-hmm. And she's definitely even almost belting now, which she never used to do. So it's very interesting.
But she did one of those things that will always let me or make me respect an artist, no matter what I thought of you, no matter how I feel about you.
Yeah.
I will always respect you. And that it has been maybe, I can count on one hand and still have fingers left over of how many artists I know of that have been able to sing and dance without sounding tired.
Yeah.
It is Beyonce, A-Marie, and now J.Lo.
Yeah.
Those are the only 3 artists I know of
Yeah.
that can do that. Not only sing and dance, but to sound powerful when you sing and dance.
Yeah.
And it's not like a Beyonce dance, an A-Marie dance. I mean, she ain't performing no more, but when she used to.
Now she's a YouTuber.
An A-Marie dance and a J.Lo dance. Those are not easy things to do. You can't go out there and do a good 2-step and call it one of those people's dances.
Yeah, no.
You be doing acrobats on stage. And to sing and still sound as powerful as they do, and I'm adding J.Lo into this now, that is something that no matter how I feel about your art, your artistry, I can't help but respect it. Because that is not easy.
I feel like people don't ever want to give J.Lo her props. What she has.
I mean, I was one of those people. I mean, she's a gorgeous woman. I liked her music, but I was not here for her live things because it's something I thought that I saw that may have not been the whole thing. I was like, okay, I'm not here for this. I'm not really here to see a bitch.
Well, she's definitely evolved over the years. Mm-hmm. If you want to say, in regards to what she used to sound like and what she sounds like now, like there are videos definitely on YouTube. You know, I watch a lot of singing videos. I love to watch like how people's voices have grown over the years. And so, you know, I did watch a video of J.Lo and they were showing how different her voice is compared to how it used to be. Like she wouldn't have, now if this was like 10, 15 years ago, she wouldn't be able to hit any of those notes. And so she's just really been working hard. Yeah, she has really been working hard.
Because I think the last time I saw a performance of her live was probably around the era where she wore that green dress that she's so famous for.
Okay, back then, no. She wouldn't have been able to do any of that.
So, I was right.
So, at that time.
Yeah, and I think that made me write her off. Which, I mean, it's not good to do, but at the same time, it is what it is. I did it.
I mean, it happens. We all do it. Yeah. We all do it. But I've been a huge J.Lo fan since the beginning, and I didn't pay too much attention to her performances either. I just would listen to her albums because she makes good music. And but then it was like probably a good 5-6 years ago, she started doing these performances on award shows. And you could tell she was singing live, and especially with her doing the Vegas residency. I think that's also helped her because she had to really get that stamina to be doing that almost every night. And so I think that's what really helped her a lot is her Vegas residency.
Well, it didn't help Britney Spears.
Because she ain't singing live.
Well,
Ain't nothing gonna help it.
On a hotel tour, and she said, "This is not for me."
Although she swears she sings live.
I don't lip sync, girl. Please tell me when you have last night lip sync. But like I said, I enjoyed J.Lo's performance. She was really fucking good. Shakira was nice next to her. She was a nice add-on. But if it was a Shakira performance only, I would not have enjoyed that.
I would have enjoyed it more if she would have sang live. It's just me personally.
I don't know how she sounds live at all, so I can't.
I've heard her live, and probably she shouldn't have. But you know, and I love Shakira. Don't get me wrong, but I just lose a lot of respect for an artist if they don't sing live, and I'm sorry. That's just how it is. After the Michael Jacksons and the Beyoncés and things like that. I don't want to hear you. I don't want to see you lip.
Yeah.
I don't want to. It can be done.
Essentially, at that point, it's drag.
Yeah. You might as well just go on RuPaul's Drag Race.
Right.
I want to see a performance. I don't want to see you dance. And then I also don't want to see you, because that's why I have no respect for motherfucking Chris Brown, because he would get on these award shows and he'll dance, and with a microphone, I'm like, if you just want to dance, just dance.
Right. I would have, honestly, and I've always said this, I would have so much more respect for people. If you're going to lip sync, don't put a mic next to your mouth. Just dance. You
ain't fooling nobody.
Yeah, you're really not. Which is what you're only fooling your stands.
Yeah.
Because those are people that want to believe tooth and nail that you are singing live, even though the proof is in the motherfucking pudding that you're not.
Yeah.
And you can show them video proof of them lips not syncing to this song, and they'd be like, "That's just the camera."
But what kills me is
that's a delay.
I hate that we always have to do this, but we have to. We always have to go back to Beyonce, because people always want to say Beyonce lip syncs. I've only seen Beyonce lip sync twice. And that was at the beginning of her career when she was doing her solo career. She was doing Baby Boy. And there was this performance where she was walking on top of these dudes. and she was lip syncing the first part of it, and it sounded really kind of jazzy. But that first part of it, she did lip sync, but she didn't have a mic. She just lip synced it, and then she performed live after she got down. And then there's a second time during the Beyonce experience when she was singing Sugar Mama. And for the first part of that, she didn't have a mic either. So I'm saying is she's not trying to fool you when she lip syncs. And even when she doesn't, because if you go back and watch Sugar Mama, she was even trying to be funny about it because she was like, y'all know I ain't singing. You know?
But with that, there are times that I've seen her lip sync and I will go to, if it's not the same award show Beyonce, not award show, performance Beyonce experience, it was the one right before that. All I know is that she was singing Cater to You. And when it had to be Beyonce experience. She's singing Cater to You, and she does this thing where I've only seen it in a handful of performances by her, and it was usually her shows, where she will lip sync the hook, and I know she's lip syncing because I hear her whispering into the mic.
She always does that.
She whispers into the mic, but I can take that because you're singing everything else live. But when your entire performance is a lip sync, you are a drag queen.
Yeah, but I mean,
anybody can hop up in the studio and have their voice edited to the gods and back. But
hooks are always pre-recorded, no matter what, because it's so many voices. Yeah, I mean, so why would she sing that because it's pre-recorded? But she's always singing her ad libs. She don't, I've seen plenty of people lip sync their ad libs, and I'd be like, okay, and your ad libs sound exactly the same every night. Something is wrong
every night.
And then you can tell because they'll be singing and then all of a sudden they'll be shouting out to the crowd. You sound completely different from the way you were singing. Right. Now you out of breath all of a sudden when you shouting out to the crowd, but you weren't while you were singing. But okay.
I did love all that Latina energy that I was feeling. It just felt really good to watch that. Because of course we always discuss how there's so much. There's a huge focus on uplifting Black people a lot. I mean, when I say huge as a comparison to what it was years ago.
Yeah.
But the thing is, and for me, being a Black person, I feel like it's a slap in the face to other ethnicities. Because, you want to combat racism, but Black people are the only people that face racism. So when it comes to, I feel like the totem pole right now is white people, Black people, Hispanic people, Asian people, and then
everything else.
Everything else all clumped into one.
Yeah.
And I just feel like let's do better to include everybody. If you want to be inclusive and have equality, you can't just have equality between Black and white people. There are more races out there. So I am glad that we had a performance that was wholeheartedly Hispanic or Latino.
And I love that. And you know what I also liked about it? Because it was so energetic.
It
there
really
wasn't a single slow song. It was all up there, just dancing, whatever. I loved seeing J.Lo on the pole.
Child.
And
all over the place.
Yes, I enjoyed it. It was really good. And
and Shakira's meme. Did you see that?
What meme?
Because I knew it was gonna become a meme the moment I saw it happen on screen. She was.
With the
I was like, girl, what is the moment I saw it? I was like, they about to meme this.
And there's a whole bunch of ass eating.
Siri, wasn't I talking to you, girl?
Yeah, it became a whole lot of ass eating.
Yeah.
But
what was she singing?
She was singing.
Was it that? What is that?
No, she wasn't singing that. She was. Oh my God, what was she singing? Well, she started out with that song. I love that song.
Yeah.
She was but speaking of, because we were talking about ethnicities, and I was talking to this one woman, and me personally, this is what I do, whether it's right or wrong, but I don't like to, when it comes to Asians, I can't tell them apart, to be very honest. So I just broadly call them Asians.
I mean, which is better than calling everybody Chinese.
Yeah, but speaking of, we were talking about something, and she said something about somebody being Chinese, and I said, I was talking about somebody being Asian, and she was like, no, they're Chinese. I was like, that's Asian.
Yeah.
I was like, she's
like, Asia.
She was like, that's in Asia? I'm like, girl, where are you?
China is.
It's like, people are so uneducated.
There is one, because I'm the same way, if we're just going to be real honest, when it comes to trying to differentiate Asian, Chinese, Korean, I say Asian, Japanese, Chinese, Korean, and there's one other that I was trying to say. I can't think of it right now. I'm going to say Mandalorian.
Mandalorian.
That's not.
Mandarin?
Mandarin. But I can't tell them apart except for I think it's Korean because the way that they speak has a harder like this hard throat sound when they talk. Like when they talk as far as like I guess in their own language as well as in English. Yeah. It has a hard sound in their throat. Now, I could be wrong. It's not Korean. It could be something else. I'll fact check myself later. But it has this like hard sound in their throat, and I know instantly when I hear it. Okay, that's what that race is.
I don't.
But
I can't
aside, like visually, I cannot.
No. I think I can tell Koreans more and Japanese people, and maybe like Korean, Japanese, and Chinese, I can pretty much kind of place it. I still don't like to guess because I'm the same way with Hispanic people. I just call you Hispanic until you tell me.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, okay, because I don't like to guess people's stuff. Like there was this one lady that's like, oh, what do you think I am? I'm like, I'd rather you tell me,
right?
Because
it's gonna be wrong. And then you want me to call me racist?
Because especially I've called, I think, a Puerto Rican Mexican once, and it was like, I'm Puerto Rican. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry.
So sorry.
Like, some people get offended when you call them Mexican.
They do.
And so I'd be
I feel like that's
sorry.
more of a hang up about them than it is anything about you calling them Mexican.
But I know that, but I still, race is a sensitive topic. And I don't try, and no matter how you might mean it, it comes off wrong, so
race is a sensitive topic because people make it so sensitive. Because if you didn't think that Mexicans were like less than, you wouldn't be offended.
Well, they do. I've heard other Hispanic people talk crap about Mexicans.
I feel like that's probably just how Black people talk shit about either not Japanese, Jamaican or African people, and vice versa. I think within the cultures of Hispanics or Latinos, they think there's going to be one at the bottom of the totem pole because as humans, they always want to put themselves over something else. And I feel like at the bottom of that totem pole for a lot of Hispanic people or Latino people is probably Mexican. Why? I don't know. I'm not in that ethnicity to hear the ongoings. But then you have it like with Black people, Jamaican, and African, where I think all three, Black, Jamaican, and African, they all think the other was at the bottom.
It's like it just rotates.
I
think it's stupid.
I don't know if it's like that with Asians.
I don't know. I've never really heard it
for Black and Hispanic people groupings.
There's a lot of Filipinos in my job. It's like a lot of them.
Filipino. That is the one I meant. Filipinos are the one that have that hard throat sound when they talk.
It's so weird. I was like one of the girls. Her
it's like that. When I hear that, I know.
It's so crazy because I was listening to this one girl. She's Filipino, and she would speak like she'll speak to you in English, which she still has that really thick accent in her English, and then she'll speak to you. Then you'll hear her speak to like her sister or somebody else Filipino in Filipino, and her voice is so high pitched when she speaks Filipino, but when she's speaking English, it's really deep, and I don't understand. Like I thought I think
because like what I said, their language seems to be very throaty.
It's so odd to me because she sounded like two completely different people. Like she came up talking English. And then all of a sudden she started talking Filipino, and I was like, "Who came up?" And I was like, "Oh, it's still Melody." I was like, it was so weird. And but it was kind of funny because they were it's like I said, it's a whole bunch of Asians. It's the most Asians I've ever seen in my life, in real life. And they were in the break room, and like they were talking to our supervisor Bill, who is a white man, and he said "ni hao" to them, and they were like "ni hao, ni hao," and then one woman asked them, "What's that Chinese?" And she was like, "I don't know." I don't speak Chinese. It makes me think of King of the Hill when Hank was asking what's his name? Khan, what the Chinese people were saying. Because, they all think he's Chinese. Yeah. And so he was like, how should I know? I'm not Chinese. Do I look Chinese to you? It was like, you look like Chinese. You don't know the difference.
Stuff like that.
I never, before watching King of the Hill, I had never heard of Laos.
I haven't either.
Laotian. I had never heard of it.
Even after hearing
it.
Still the only time I've ever heard of Laotian.
I've never seen one. barely know where it is on the map. I never heard of it, and I was like, it must be a really, really tiny, tiny country.
Probably, because Asia's huge and they have a lot of small sections.
Yeah, it has a lot of little, tiny ones.
Because when we think of Asia, we think about China, Japan, Korea.
But you know what people don't think of when they think of Asia?
Mm-hmm.
Russia.
Exactly.
Because when they think of Asia, they think of I don't want to say it, but Oriental.
Yeah.
But you know, when you say Oriental, but they think of Oriental. But Russia and Turkey and all those other places which are not considered Asian, but are in Asia. So it's kind of funny.
I think it is when you think of continent versus country, is probably where it's coming from. Mm-hmm. I believe. I could be wrong. I'm not what do they call them? People that study maps. And geographer? Whatever. The word.
All right. Next topic.
My next topic is about something that happened Sunday.
Okay.
The previous Sunday, which was the Grammys, right? The Grammys was the Sunday before that, right? Before the Super Bowl?
Yes, the Sunday before that.
I was like, I know these things always tend to happen on Sundays. So.
Yeah.
And like I said, we talked about this before, but I wanted to go more in depth about it. The situation with what's that boy's name? Lil Nas X. And this rapper, Pastor.
Oh yeah.
What the hell's his name?
I can't remember.
Pastor Troy.
As soon as I hear Pastor, I'll check out.
Pastor Troy. So, I keep forgetting. Lil Nas X came to the red carpet or the entire Grammys in this pink cowboy, this very gay cowboy outfit. And I say very gay because not just because it's pink, but because he has on that fucking harness. That for some reason, gay people have found it a fashion accessory wear to like public events like this.
Yeah, I've seen so many harnesses. But not even that, now the straight people are wearing it.
I guess, and the straight people are wearing it. I'm like, do you know what this is?
This is for sex.
Right? But he wore one of those, and then he on this outfit, and to me, it was extraordinarily ugly. I just did not care for the outfit.
I don't like anything he wears. Let's just be honest. Okay,
like,
let's calm down.
Blowing horns.
Yeah.
But, so he had got pictures taken of him, and there's Pastor Troy, who I didn't know who this was until I had to do research for this, who is a old school rapper, apparently. He posted, where's this shit at? He posted a picture of Lil Nas X in the outfit, and he said, well, I guess I won't be winning a Grammy if this what I gotta wear. They love to push this shit on our kids. The other day, Applebee's had some punks kissing and laughing, eating mozzarella sticks. First thing my 14-year-old son said was, fucking Applebee's. I guess is what it's supposed to say. Or is it's supposed to say faggot Applebee's? I'm not sure.
I thought it was fuck.
I'm just looking at the amount of asterisks he has in here.
Oh, never mind.
Because that's not 4 letters. But I'm assuming he says like faggot Applebee's or fuck whatever it is. And he says, and it brought joy to my heart. He sees it, their agenda to take the masculinity from men, black men especially. Some may say he making money. RuPaul do too, but I ain't bumping his CD. Integrity is priceless. Y'all better open that third eye and let your sons know what is real, or they ass gonna be headed down to that Old Town Road for real. Then he put PT. I don't know what I guess his name, Pastor Troy. And then gon' ride it. I guess these are just lyrics. Yeah. He just put a bunch of lyrics into these hashtags. But he posted all of that. And what bothered me the most is you don't have to like gay people. You don't even have to like Lil Nas X. But it is just very telling to me that you got so hurt by an Applebee's commercial. And I'm sure the 2 men in that commercial that were laughing and kissing were in there for probably... Siri, girl.
Girl, we didn't ask you to.
So, Siri, stay in my business. God. But I don't know how to respond to that.
I don't know how to respond to all this gay shit you saying.
But it is very telling. Those gay people were probably in that commercial for probably 2 seconds. I've seen the commercials for Applebee's and stuff like that. And
I don't even know the commercial he's speaking of.
I don't know it either, and I'm assuming because any of those commercials, it was a commercial where it was predominantly about this one gay couple. Mm-hmm. I would have remembered it. But the thing about Applebee's is they always show families having fun in Applebee's. So they always click between people. I ain't never seen Applebee's commercials about one motherfucking person. So
Yeah.
I'm sure they were in there for like 2 seconds, 5 tops. And that 2 seconds or whatever hurt you so much that you remembered it enough to bring it back to this post, especially getting mad that saying you guessed you will never win a Grammy if you have to wear this. Sir, you ain't never worn that and they never won one.
Yeah.
So
but
clearly
it
that's
has
not
nothing to do
it.
with what you're wearing.
Yeah.
Because plenty of men go to the Grammys wearing the same black tux.
Yeah.
We've seen it. We've heard it. Whether it's Armani, Prada, Gucci, they all look the same.
Yeah.
So if Lil Nas X, and I'm a gay person, I thought it was ugly. But if he chose that's what he wanted to wear,
That's
I
what
don't
fuck
give a
I'm wearing.
fuck. Like, I know a lot of people really pissy about Billy Porter, but they pissy about him every time he get on the red carpet.
He knows it, don't care.
Right.
Which I appreciate.
I think he's doing it at this point just to piss people off.
Yeah, because it's
And-
like, why do you care so motherfucking much? There are 2 people on that red carpet that came in, 2 men on that red carpet that came in these extraordinarily gay outfits, and it was Billy Porter and Lil Nas X. But because of those 2 people out of the hundreds that came there, you got mad about him.
Yeah. My thing is,
All
though,
these men in
but
their black
he
tuxes.
wanted to kind of say that to me, he was trying to still put it off like he wasn't being bigoted. But you are. You
Yeah.
are being very bigoted because, no, you don't have to wear that to get a Grammy. There were plenty of people who got Grammys that didn't dress like that. And
Before
also,
and will after this.
And will after that. But also, you ain't getting a Grammy because you know what? Don't nobody know who the fuck you are.
Right.
I've never heard of Pastor Troy.
Until you posted this tweet.
Yeah.
You were not spoken of, sir.
Like, do you make music? I don't know. Because, are you a rapper? What do you do? I couldn't say.
I screenshotted this too. He said a lot of dumb shit that was just all very
sure.
bigoted. But this was the most ignorant that I saw because it was ignorant on multiple facets. So he said, so somebody tweeted or replied to his post on Instagram and said, why is being gay and proud wrong? And he said, because that shit is man-made. Animals know better. When the last time you seen a gay animal?
I've seen
Okay.
plenty.
But then he says okay as if he won that argument.
He did.
My thing is, though, sir, you are highly uneducated if you think that there are not gay animals. Because y'all love to use this excuse of it not being, people saying that it's man-made. I've never heard anybody say that besides him. Like, those words specifically, at least.
Yeah.
But people love to say that it's not natural. But the thing is, there are gay animals. And if we're going to look to nature, we have to look at animals. And where it is not a majority, neither are gay people. So it is something where people are gay. But even if it wasn't something, regardless if somebody is, if it is natural or not, if you're born that way or not, why does it matter to
my
you?
thing is-
I'm not coming to suck your dick.
Yeah.
I'm not coming
My
for
thing
you.
is, if it was quote unquote man-made, and so what if it was?
Yeah,
So, I mean,
there are so many things man-made that you still subscribe to.
Yo, clothes are man-made.
Mm-hmm.
You believe in that? That fucked up haircut you got is man-made. You like that? Shit. I mean, the thing is, all the man-made things, I bet your girlfriend got man-made ass.
Right.
But you believe in that. So your argument to me becomes null and void when you say man-made. Everything you have in this world is man-made.
Yeah.
Your house is man-made. That TV was man-made that you probably watching this motherfucking Super Bowl on and the Grammys and everything else. So I think it's really fucked up for you to use that as an excuse. Oh, it's man-made. That's why. You probably smoking that man-made chronic.
Yeah.
But you know what? Pastor Troy. So I don't want to hear that. That makes no sense. And I've heard the whole argument. Animals get it right. No, one of my friends back in high school had a gay dog. That dog used to almost jump the fence to get to the other boy dog and fuck. So no, I don't want to hear none of that. There are plenty of gay animals and whatever. But the thing is, it don't matter who's gay and who's not. The thing is, you ain't. So you worry about that.
Yeah.
So that's how I feel about it. I don't go around talking about, like, for instance, I'm not trans, but I'm not going to go talk shit about trans people just because I'm not.
Yeah.
And a lot of gay people are right now. And there's even a group that's going against trans people.
Which is just so idiotic to me. But it's back to that thing where I said, when somebody is at the bottom of the totem pole, when somebody is a minority, they always want to make another subsect a minority. Everybody wants to feel that they are higher than something else, and which is annoying because I wish people would get out of that mindset, because there is no reason to want to take the T off of LGBT. Because for what reason? Not understand, but I hear what they're saying about, well, when you become trans, unless you are transitioned to a woman and still date women, that's lesbian. So, but if you transition to a woman and you're dating men, they're like, oh, well, that's straight. I hear you. But that doesn't mean that they are not out there getting attacked. They don't go out there and then straight people see them as straight.
I don't care. Yeah, okay, say you become a woman, you become a straight woman, you're dating men. Mm-hmm. And you become a man, you dating straight women, and you're straight. I get that argument, but at the same time, they still going through our struggles.
Yeah.
So they are still a part of our community, and we wouldn't have the shit that we have today if it wasn't for trans people.
It wasn't for trans people and people that are being loud and proud. It's the motherfuckers that can hide in the closet and walk down the street and not be known as gay. Yeah. That want to make all the fuss about this.
They want to talk about how we are ruining the community and the image of gay people.
No,
you are. Because you don't want to stand up for your motherfucking community. And then you want to come up and be high and mighty because you can be a muscle bottom out in these streets and don't nobody know about it. Child, the thing is, still, no matter how straight and masculine you look, as soon as they know you gay, the only thing they gonna see you as is gonna dick up your ass.
Right.
And it ain't gonna matter no more that you got them muscles and that chiseled chin that you probably got feeler for.
Right.
So it'd be those and
throughout history, it's always been those people in the gay community. It's always been the people that can't hide have to fight for our rights. And because we're fighting for our rights, they are by proxy of getting those rights because they're also gay. And they love to live up off of those rights when the time comes for it. But they don't want to be, they're not going to be the ones that are at the marches fighting to get their voice heard, or people that are letting it be known that they're gay. So that I feel like if more straight presenting, I guess, or more masculine presenting people would not try to hide it so much or be more open about it. Not to say that there aren't any, because there are a lot out there. Yeah. But if there were more of them, I feel like it would, maybe it wouldn't, but I feel like it would stop the thought process of a lot of straight people or bigoted straight people that are just like, all gay people act like feminine people. Because if they were more out there and shown more, it would, I feel like it would diminish that. Because even right now, a lot of times when you see people on TV, it's always an effeminate character that they're using for a joke. Or they're the gay best friend. Or they're the sidekick to something. Because gay people typically can't get their own damn roles to be their own person with fleshed out story.
Which I think, because the thing is when they see us, they even talked about this in Queer as Folk. Remember when Emmett was on the news channel? And Emmett was very loud and proud.
Yes.
And he got on that news channel and he tried to talk, I guess, about sex. And they told him, we just want you to be the funny gay guy. We don't want to know about your sex life. We don't know, basically all they want you to be is the comedic relief. Mm-hmm. And you can't have a personality. You can't have a life. You can't have feelings. And
which goes back to how they had black people for a while.
Yeah.
Like, the correlations between black people and gay people is so high. But
yeah. And the thing is, we're both.
Yeah. It bothers me when people try to diminish the lines, and usually it's straight black people that I've seen, try to diminish the lines that are running parallel to one another from gay people and straight people. I mean, gay people and black people.
Yeah, I've heard people get upset when you compare it, but I think...
But the thing is, the struggles are not identical, but they are very similar. Because, like I was saying, black people were, for the longest time, just be the comedic relief. We don't need you coming up over here telling us about your life.
Yeah.
Just be the comedic relief.
Yeah.
And now we have gay people, just be the comedic relief. We don't need to know shit about you, just be the comedic relief. Now, black people, now we're stuck in, which I hope would stop, everything is about goddamn slave movie. if a white person wants to make it.
Every white person does want to make it. My thing is definitely, we have gone through strides where it was a point where a black person couldn't have a personality in a life outside of being somebody's maid or somebody's black friend.
Yes.
And then finally we got our own stuff, and because what we fought for was what? Representation. Yeah. So now we're doing the same thing for gay people. We are fighting for our representation. We fought for it. I'm loving to see it. I'm loving to see it in the cartoons. We were watching Kipo. And not only did we have a black character, there was a lot of people of color. And mostly nothing but people of color. But not only did we have a black character, multiple black characters, but We also had a black gay character,
Mm-hmm.
and I loved how they did it. I don't think you saw the scene.
I saw the scene.
You saw the scene when they were in the Ferris wheel.
Yeah.
And she was like, "Oh, I think I like you," and she was like, "Oh, that's so cool. I like you too, but I'm gay." And it was just a very nonchalant thing, and I really loved how they did it. It was just like, this is just a fact. I'm gay.
Mm-hmm.
We friends. Let's move on. And that's what it was.
Mm-hmm.
And I really enjoyed it because it makes it seem like it's normal. And that's what I want to see, is people normalizing it. And the more we put it in people's faces,
Mm-hmm.
the more they have to tolerate it. Because the reason why they're able to get away with their views and their thoughts and whatever that they perceive is because they're not seeing it.
Yeah.
Every day.
It's being hidden from them too much, or
Yeah.
they're hiding. If you do it so much so that they can't help but to see it,
Yeah.
it's going to make it so that they have to acknowledge it. Now, you don't have to like a gay person. I will say all day long, you don't have to like me being gay. You don't have to like me dressing effeminately or acting effeminately, whatever the fuck. You don't have to like it. But what you going to do is respect me enough to not fucking come into my face, because it won't go the way you think it will. I'll just let you know that right now. I just wish, I can't wait for the day where, I don't think it will ever happen, where we don't have to worry about people being put under so much. Because I feel like once gay people get out of this, I feel like we didn't have to worry about Mexican people getting out of it, and then or Hispanic people getting out of it. Then we worry about Hispanic people getting out of it. It has to be Asians, and then after Asians, it has to be Middle Eastern, and then so on and so forth. It's gonna always be somebody that we have to find a way to include, instead of just being like, hey, you're you, I'm me, let's live life.
Yeah. And I'm so happy.
It seems to be such a hard concept to grasp for people.
I'm so happy for the people who are fighting for representation, no matter what it is, whether it's, Asians, gays, trans. The amount of trans people I've been seeing on TV, I love it. Especially we're seeing trans people play trans people.
Yeah.
Because there were plenty of movies that were about trans people
That didn't have anybody trans in it.
that were played by men or women.
Yeah.
Like there's one Trans America, I think it's called. What's her name? I can't think of her name. But it was played by a woman. There's a couple, like there's a old one I used to watch a lot. Soldier's Girl. Do you know what I'm talking about? It was like this. I don't know if she was exactly trans. I can't remember. I think she was trans though. But I think she also was like in the drag scene. But she ended up meeting this military guy, and he fell in love with her. They started a relationship. The other military people found out and beat him to death.
Oh my god!
It was so sad. Really good movie though. But
I hate seeing and hearing stuff like that.
Yeah, it was really hard to watch, especially since he was having a hard time dealing with it, but he really loved her, so he was really like, okay, I'm gonna be with you. But and so you know how those type of relationships go. We all know, and so it's a rough time. But I saw a couple of them. I saw one trans movie. I can't remember the name of it, but it was a man playing a trans woman, and he was going through the whole surgery, whatever. And I remember there's a scene where he was getting ready to have sex for the first time with his brand new vagina. Oh. And the dude was like, "Oh, you think it's gonna fit?" Like they put it in and everything and had a good night. But even with thinking about that, because I would like for a movie to do this, because me and you had just found out like all of the steps that it takes to open their vagina up.
I only remembered because of the Tyra Banks talk show that she had, where that one transgender model had came on ISIS, and she had her, I don't know if it's a specific kind of doctor, but the person who goes with you through your journey of like getting the bottom surgery and all your meds and all that. Yeah. She was with her and she was kind of like explaining, or if she was just like a doctor to be able to explain. Yeah. I can't remember specifically, but I know she was there and she was just explaining like, well, once we do the surgery and we make it into a vagina, you then have to go through. I didn't know until we looked at it together. You have to go through having those like essentially like little like dildos, like little toys that like just keep your hole open, and then it just like gauges. Yeah. You just get it wider and wider. I guess until you wide as you want to be. Yeah. But I don't know.
When you finally get to where you need to be. And I was just like, I never even thought about that.
I didn't either until that.
I would like for, after seeing, because especially like Pose, which is mostly trans people,
like to see somebody like go
talk
through
about
that,
it,
like the journey of that.
Yeah, because as far as I know, only one of them talked about, because what's her name? Electra? I think Electra, the mother of House of Abundance. She she was okay. To be honest, I think she was stupid. But so she was with this really rich guy, Mr. Ford, and he got her a penthouse. She's been living up there for 10 years. She been living this extravagant life, and she felt incomplete without her penis, and with her penis because she had a penis and she didn't want it. And she talked to him about it. He said, well, if you cut your penis off, I'm cutting you off. And she was swearing, oh, he ain't never going to leave me. Child, as soon as that penis was gone, she was on the street. And I was like, girl, I don't know. I probably would have waited till he died.
So 2 things with that, because I definitely get what you're saying. Me and you would have the same idea of, child, we just going to wait this out. We're going to thug this out if I was trans. And we're going to go based off of our thought process as being people that are not trans, because we adore our penises and don't feel incomplete. But like thinking about it from her perspective, like not her perspective, but like from what I've researched about trans people, that because some of them don't want to get surgery. Yeah, it's like body dysmorphia. I have come to learn just very recently because I've been doing a lot of research, but not on trans women, but trans men. A lot of them have been popping up on my YouTube because I've been watching a lot of it. Yeah. When they describe body dysmorphia, it is such a tragic thing to hear somebody have to talk about feeling. And it's tragic because I can't fathom it. Like, I can't fathom looking in the mirror and seeing me and feeling that I am not whole. Even like, I'm going to put myself in this because I want to get surgery to have like hips. I love a feminine figure and I want that. I always jokingly but seriously say I want my Fashion Nova body. I knowing that I want that, I don't look in the mirror and say I'm incomplete though. I don't feel that. So to hear it and then not only hear somebody say I feel incomplete, but then to go into why, and like in deep detail why they feel incomplete is very it makes you think a lot. Like that's really hard to go through.
Yeah, I mean the biggest thing is the biggest psychological thing, and I can understand that she was like, I need this for me. My thing is with that,
I'm with you on it.
My thing is that I completely understand that
because you said she was living with him, right? Or is he just paying for her everything?
That was her place that she stayed in. He would come there and be with her sometimes, but he didn't live with her.
Did he pay for it, though?
He paid for everything.
So, yeah.
She didn't have a job. She didn't work. He took care of her. So, my thing is, she didn't pay for it with his money because he didn't give it to her. Oh. She stole some stuff.
So she stole some stuff. From him?
Not from him.
Oh.
It was around Christmas time, and she robbed like a Santa Claus that, be collecting money.
Oh, God.
And stuff. So she stole, and I know this is about not a lot of drag queens that do like balls and stuff because it's about the ball scene. I know this about them because I know some. They do steal. Okay.
RuPaul has talked about how much drag queens steal.
Yeah, they do steal. And it's just a thing they do because a lot of them can't afford the stuff that they do, so they steal. Mm-hmm. Steal your way to the top. So she went through that, and I understand because when it's not the same thing. I don't want to compare it to, but this is how my mind works in trying to sympathize with it or empathize. Because when I gained weight, I felt body dysmorphia. Mm-hmm. My body wasn't the way that I saw it. Mm-hmm. And
where you're used to seeing it one way.
Yeah, and in my mind, I was still seeing it that way. And then when I would look in the mirror, it wasn't what in my mind I saw. Mm-hmm. And that was
this
hard.
day, I feel that way.
Yeah, that's a hard thing to see.
In my head, my body is one way, and then I walk, and not even with the whole Fashion Nova body thing, but just like the way it used to look.
The way you're used to it looking.
Yeah, in my mind, it's like not exactly like that, but not as bad as I see it now. And it's in comparison to what I used to be. Yeah, it's bad to me. So when you go into the mirror and you see it, you're like, it's a shock because in your head, it's one way. That way. And so you go in the mirror and you're just like, God, this damn
is me. And I felt
that way. Talk yourself out of almost going into a depression because of it.
That was this is the day where I really, really felt it. I don't look in a lot of mirrors. Mm-hmm. I remember talking to somebody and they was like, oh, I love mirrors. And I was like, I don't look in mirrors. The only time I look in mirrors is if I'm putting on makeup or if I'm washing my face or brushing my teeth. Any other time, I don't look in the mirror. Mm-hmm. And which I guess people find odd because my Instagram, my Facebook. I guess people think I look at myself all day. I honestly do not. I do not like to look at myself. But the day that really, really struck me is, this is back when I was kind of dating, if you remember, what's that boy's name? Shit, I can't even remember his name.
The Hispanic boy?
No, this is back when I was still in Memphis. Anyway, I was over some guy's house, and he had a full body mirror in his bathroom, which I did not own. And I went to go pee, and I was naked, and I just happened to look over, and I was like, oh my God.
Oh my God.
I mean, it was shocking to me. And I was just like, we gotta get this together. I just wanted to leave. I just didn't want to be there anymore. I wanted to cover up. I didn't want him to see my body. Like, he of course was attracted to me, and it was, but the thing is, it's not about that.
But you don't want to change yourself for them.
Me.
It's for you.
Yeah, it's about me. And I was like, this is not what I like. And so then, I started dieting, and I lost quite a bit of weight, and I felt better. I didn't want to lose all the weight because I was really skinny. You remember how skinny I was, extremely skinny. And I didn't need to be that skinny. I just didn't want to be, because I was like 90 pounds. I didn't need to be 90 pounds. I never was trying to be 90 pounds. I just didn't gain weight. Yeah. And then child 27 came, and
child went to the left.
And they say, because I was in a long-term relationship at that time, and then people say when you're in really good relationships, you get that quote-unquote happy weight.
Yeah. I was like, please let me be depressed. Aaron, hurt my feelings.
Yes, hurt me deep.
Cheat on me, bitch. But with you saying that you don't want to compare it to body dysmorphia, that's still body dysmorphia, maybe not to a high level, but it is still in my opinion, it is still a form of body dysmorphia, because you're not seeing it the way that it actually is, and then when you see it, it's not what you want it to be. Yeah. And going back to that girl, she, like I said, I can understand the way we would feel about it. Like, I wish there would have been somebody to be able to talk to her. Like, girl, I understand that you want to get this changed. I know it's going to make you complete.
Well, I feel
but
like
you are getting money. And not only just getting money, but you are living comfortable until you have a way to provide for yourself.
Yeah, that was my
on the
biggest
streets.
thing. That was my biggest thing. I understand that she wanted that, and I applaud her for saying, no, this is what I want. I don't care what he says. But what you should have did was made sure you had a separate account somewhere with some extra money in it. Yeah. Like, he was giving you allowance. You should have, instead of buying all these furs and jewelry and shoes,
just put a
you
little
should
bit
have put
to the
some
side.
to the side. So that because to be really honest though, this is a white man that, and this is back in the 80s.
Oh, yeah.
This was a white man who is using you for his sexual fetish, and he's been doing that. And
somebody would use me for a sexual fetish.
And she was getting older. She's not young, so she was getting older, and it was very possible for at any time for him to find somebody younger and be like, "Okay, bitch, get the fuck out." And to me, you got to be smart when you're a person that that's not taking care of yourself. You need to have a separate bank account somewhere with some extra money put aside. Yes. You need to be secretly making some side hustle money and making sure that you're okay for that day that he kick you out.
Do you know how much he was giving her? Do you remember? If they even said it?
They never said how much, but she was living a luxurious life.
So, I mean, in that case, even with you saying, like, getting a side hustle, she, from what it sounds like, she could have just literally still been afford her furs and stuff, cut what he gives you in half. Well, put that half in a rainy day fund.
She was a snooty bitch. She wasn't going to save no money.
No.
She was, well, for one thing,
that's what you're gonna get what
she
you get.
was a snooty bitch, but not only was she a snooty bitch, she was a bitch that thought that them bitches that think that they everything. Yeah. My man is never gonna leave me, and that's how she felt. Because even when he told you he would leave you, she's like, no, he's not gonna leave me. He's not gonna be able to live without me. And then when she showed her pussy to him, he was like, okay, you just have to ruin everything. And that's really what he said. He said, I only asked you to do one thing, and that's what he said. I only asked you to do one thing. I give you all of this stuff, and I asked you to do one thing. And he was like, and you couldn't do that. Yeah. And so I feel like, you knew what y'all's relationship was, and I understand you wanted what you wanted, but you knew that it had consequences, but you were so in denial about, and to be honest, she ain't that pretty, but she thought she was the shit, and believed that, oh, he ain't gonna leave me. And so I was like, well, he did.
Again, I'm with you. I applaud her for being like, well, this is my truth. I'm gonna live by that. But I have to take points away because you didn't do it smart. And the reason you didn't do it smart wasn't because of lack of knowing. It was because of an arrogance that you have about yourself. And so at that point, girl, you get what you got. That's just how I feel about it.
Yeah. And also, just in case you haven't seen this, since we're talking about body dysmorphia, I don't know if you've seen The Danish Girl. Mm-mm. If not, I recommend it. It's on Netflix now. It just got on Netflix like this past month. It has
Netflix trying to make move before Disney snatch all that shit
they're trying
up.
to get everything. But The Danish Girl is about the very first recorded gender surgery ever in history.
I was about to say, when you said the very first recorded, I was about to say whale sound. I don't know why.
I don't know where you went with that, but it's the very first recorded. I can't remember her name, but she has a diary. She kept a diary while she was going through her transition, and so you can buy her diary and read it. But it's based off of that, and so it was this man who was married to a woman, and she was a painter, and she had a model that was supposed to come pose for her, but she didn't make it. So she had her husband put on the dress and pose for her, and so when he put it on, he just felt something. Like, something just lit up in him. And so he kind of started wearing it in secret, like, under his clothes, and she realized it. And it became, like, a fun game with them. And so she had dressed him up, put him in makeup and everything, and they went to a party. And he had met a dude there and was like, they kissed and something, and nothing else happened. But after a while, because his person that was in him is almost like a split personality. Like, she would take over and wouldn't let him come back out. And she
they not document, but did they like I don't know, did they realize that in the movie?
No, I don't know
if that's even the word.
We'll have to watch it. Okay. We'll watch it after this. But but it's not something they say, but the way that it's portrayed is like it's a split, because there would be times where she would like, I want to see my husband, I want to speak to my husband, and she'd be like, no. And so it was treated like a split personality, kind of. But, of course, back then, this was something that hadn't really been done before. And she was, like, going to the doctor, and she told him, she was like, I want my body. This is not my body. I want my body. It was heart-wrenching. And what was even more heart-wrenching, because she died. From the surgery. Of course, back then, they didn't have sterilized utensils. They didn't have any type of like narcotics or anything, like anesthesia, to be able to numb anything or put her under. She had to feel everything. Oh my God. She was screaming. Like, it was hard. But we'll watch after this because it's really good. It has Eddie Redmayne in it. That's who's the trans person.
I need to see this for real.
But
I just couldn't imagine.
Yes, it's so good though. But yeah, it's rough. I'm gonna let you know. Be ready. But yeah, that's a movie that speaks a lot about body dysmorphia and how it affects a person psychologically. And so yeah, my next topic is about Kesha. That bitch.
I wish Kesha would go back blonde because she looks
terrible.
Like such a basic bitch with brown hair.
She looks terrible.
Is it brown or black?
It's nearly black. Like nearly. So she with her case against Dr. Luke, she had said that he had raped Katy Perry, which I was like, girl, it's not your place to be going around telling people. But apparently she really told it to Lady Gaga, and I'm not sure how it got out to the masses.
How did she know? I was following the case at first. When it first started happening, like I told you, I thought this ended. I thought they were done with it, or maybe it just didn't get talked about as much, so it kind of fell out of my head too. Yeah. But how did she know Katy Perry?
She had
allegedly.
Well, I don't know how she found out. They don't really say that in this article, or they just said that they found it in some text messages that Kesha sent Lady Gaga. Oh. And but the original case where she had tried to get out of her contract and everything, that was over. But then Dr. Luke sued her. So that's where it's going, because he sued her for defamation of character. And so that's what's been going on. And so when that went in and those claims were going in, she was like, oh, well, he tried to rape Katy Perry. Katy Perry had refuted those claims. She was like, I don't know about what you're talking about. I was not there. I was in the room. I did not witness this. So of course, they were like, since there was no actual refutable evidence that he raped her, of course they had to go ahead and dismiss their trial. And so now Kesha has been slapped with
defamation lawsuit.
That's already been the lawsuit.
Okay.
That's over, and she's been slapped with a fine to pay Dr. Luke $374,000 in interest, and also her team says they're going to try to appeal it. But I think at this point, there's no point to try to appeal it because they don't have any evidence to go against
unless
it.
Katy Perry is about to hop up and say, you know what, I lied. He did do it. Here's the video.
Here's the video. It's some R. Kelly shit.
Right. I really just feel like there's nothing that you can do. Speaking of R. Kelly, because this happened. This happened while we weren't recording. Oh my God. I don't remember if I told you. I wish I could pull up the receipts right now. I can't. Y'all just gonna have to trust me. I'll probably bring it up next week. Trust me. I witnessed the whole thing. I was at work, tired, on glued into it. But a situation had happened where, so you know, as this whole thing has been going on with R. Kelly, there have been two women that have been standing by his side. Those two girls. Mm-hmm. Those two girls got into a fight. One of those girls has started screaming about how everybody's being fooled. Everybody's being fooled, and we didn't lie to all of y'all, and y'all just sitting behind this man because he's the quote-unquote king of R&B, but he been raping us since we were little, and all of this shit that everybody has been saying since before you came out and said this. I don't know what they got into a fight about, because it never was really said. I just know, so there's a light-skinned one and a dark-skinned one, or darker-skinned. The darker-skinned one is the one that was... I don't know if she was the aggressor, but she was the one that was leaving the not Hilton, Trump Hotel, because you know that's where they were staying at while R. Kelly is locked up. She's staying at they were staying at the Trump Hotel, and I think they were getting kicked out, or she was trying to leave. And the light skin one was mad because of how she was leaving and recording it and all this other stuff. And she was like, "You're gonna bring these people into his house. You're gonna bring this other man into R. Kelly's house." And okay. And so they were like going back and forth and screaming at each other. They had to get the police brought up in here to like separate them, just screaming about. She's like, "You raped me when I was 5." 5?
Okay, 5. Girl, I think you'd be dead.
All this shit, she was basically just trying to say she got raped when she was very young, and which I think when you watched the Surviving R. Kelly,
yeah.
Remember that one scene that they talked about where there was one girl came downstairs and there was a girl on the mattress.
Yeah.
That was already downstairs. She's, I guess, was waiting. Waiting, ready. It's not funny, but it's
not funny. Don't take our laughs seriously.
Yeah, please don't. Like, it's a very serious situation, but it's just something that we make light of things to be able to talk about them without crying. But I'm assuming that's her. That was down there already.
Yeah.
The darker skin one.
Okay.
I could be wrong. It's one of the two of them. But so she decided to start spilling all the beans, and while doing all of this, she just kept on saying how everybody was being fooled and she's gonna be proving shit. That to this day she says this was like at the beginning or middle of December. She still ain't put no evidence out to my knowledge, but yeah. She just was screaming about how she was gonna put all this information out and nothing ever came from it. So I will try to bring up a receipt real quick and post it in the next, not to talk about it too long, but just to post it in the next podcast to show that I was not lying.
It's like, I saw this already.
Y'all know I like to have a good receipt ready to play on this podcast.
He's better than me. I think I heard it saw maybe the other day around the corner, around the 7-Eleven by the Piggly Wiggly.
I like to make sure that if I say something, you can't come back and say that did not happen, because people love to do that.
Well, I'm quick to say, I think. Maybe. I could have heard. I could be making it up, because I'm really quick to say I could be making it up.
It makes me think about, remember I always talk about that scene when Meghan McCain, on The View, Meghan McCain and Sunny Hostin were having a conversation about a journalist. And Meghan was like, Sunny was saying something, and Megan was like, "Well, I don't know. Are you a journalist?" And I think she was waiting because she didn't expect for Sunny to say, because it's one of those things where people will say, "Argue something," because they're ready to hear, "No, you're not," so they can prove their point. Yeah. But Sunny was like, "I have a journalism degree," and she was like, "Well, I'm just asking."
I'm just asking. Let's confirm it.
It just makes me think of that. But that will always murder me. That stays in my mind so often because it was just, those people that want to make a point, but they don't know everything that they want to make it seem like they know. They just know enough to get their point proved, but they don't want to hear shit else. So you hear her over here making her claim, and Sunny is like, "No, that's not how you do it. That's not how this works. I'm a lawyer." And there's like something about journalism. And she's like, "Well, are you a journalist?" She's like, "Well, I have with her little tea or water in her hand, I have a journalism degree," and started sipping, and the crowd just roared, shouting like, "Yeah!" Clapping and stuff, and making, "I'm just asking. I'm just making sure."
That makes me think of the whole sipping of the water and the tea or whatever. Madonna about Lady Gaga. "I think it's reductive." I'm like, "How do you think so?" "Look it up." I'm like, "Okay, Madonna."
Girl, I can't stand when people like that are so upset about another artist that is compared to them.
But now she want to be all up in Lady Gaga's pictures and shit. Remember they were at the Grammys?
Yeah.
Some award show and then she was taking pictures with Gaga.
Gaga good.
I wouldn't be taking a motherfucking picture with her. If it would have been a picture, it would have been a picture of me snatching a track out. I'm like, if you don't get the fuck away from me, bitch. Now that don't nobody want to listen to your music, you want to be in my face.
Fucking whore. But my last topic that I have, and this is another one, I actually have a receipt for this. We talked about this the other day as well, but it's about Azaelia Banks being in distress. I'm about to play this clip for y'all if y'all have not heard it. I'm going to tell you right now, it is very hard to understand what she is saying. Yeah. Let's see. And so the title of this is Azaelia Banks asks fans to come to her house while she calls the police after her neighbor pulled a gun on her last night. Let's hope everything is okay. So hold on, let me Okay. Listen to this.
I'm in a neighborhood, so I'm at 2181 San Miguel Street. This is the second time my neighbor pulled a gun on me. I just feel like he's threatening to fucking shoot me. He's like racist because I keep playing the music. And please, I just need people to come here and surround me because he thinks I'm just like some loud. He just thinks I'm just like some random bitch. I'm at 2181 San Miguel Street. Please just come through. I gotta call the cops, and I know the cops are gonna take his side. Just please come to my house. Come to my house right now. He did this to me, like. I know this sounds crazy.
So we talked about this the other day, and that is for me, very hard to listen to. I don't care for Azaelia Banks. I love her music. We talk about this a lot. I love Azaelia Banks' music. I just do not like Azaelia Banks as a person from what I have, what she has showcased online.
She shouldn't like herself as a person.
But that does not dismiss, and I'm only saying this part because I've seen a lot of the reactions that I've seen to this have been from people that are like us, that don't, and when I say like us, in the mindset that they love her music, but they don't like her as a person. Yeah. But they are taking it as, oh, she's faking, or she's crazy, blah, blah, blah. Now, is she crazy? She does seem so. And this, the reason that I would give the benefit of the doubt is because I can't hear that without her being certified mentally unstable and think that she's faking or looking for attention. Because the way that she sounds so hurt that you could barely understand her. She gave out her full motherfucking address. She's crying and weeping so damn hard. To me, that is a lot. You have to be mentally unstable or have some kind of mental defects to be able to pull that off and it not be like a real thing. Because like I told you the other night when we talked about this, she ain't crazy to give out her damn address. Knowing the things she has done and said about people, she's not that crazy to be putting her address. I would hope.
Yeah, I'd hope.
But it's a very real thing. Also, hearing her just talk about how her neighbor had pulled a gun on her again, and she said that he's racist just because
she does of her music or something.
Which I mean, we hear about people all the time getting shot up or pointing a gun at for less. So black people. Yeah. So That's not hard for me to believe either. And with her saying she is putting her address out there because she wants to call the cops, but she does not want to call them over there just for her to get shot up. Like, she's trying to protect herself from being shot by a neighbor, and then she don't want to call the cops, and then which is a very real fear.
It is a real fear. And I'm assuming that since she's saying this happened before, and I'm assuming she's called the cops before, and they probably took his side before. Of course, we know.
Because she said, and she know they're going to take his side.
No, he's going to take his side. We know that Azaelia does provoke people, but I think that at the same time, she has to be in a real crisis, in danger for her to put her address out there. And also, what really bothers me is that in order for her to need to go to social media and put that frantic message out with her address, makes me really sad to think about, because that means she has nobody to turn to when she's in crisis. And
which I didn't even think about till you just said it right now, but that is very much so true, because when I think about it, like I was thinking about it yesterday when people were like, why does she post this online? And I was like, well, because she wants somebody to come to her house, because it was, why did she post this online instead of calling the police? And I'm like, well, because she wants people to come to her house so the police don't fucking kill her. Yeah. Which, I mean, at the very least, it's something where it won't stop the police from doing some fuck shit, but the police will be more weary to kill you when it's very scary, y'all.
Yeah.
If you are not a black person in today's time, when you see people getting shot for less on the news every goddamn day, it seems, it's something that you don't want to interact with the police. And I know they're not that all police are not bad police, but you don't want that to be the one that you end up with.
Yeah, and you don't know.
I can't look at a police officer and know off the bat.
No.
If this person is going to shoot me or they see me as just another person.
Yeah.
So I understand that, but it is fucked up that she had to. Her only way to feel safe was to call or to get online and post her address, like you said. Mm-hmm. And to think that she has nobody just means that she has alienated herself that much.
Yeah.
Which is just fucking sad. But at the same time, I feel that I know she does have a very dedicated fan base. Most famous people do, regardless of how they are as a person.
Yeah.
I hope there were people that were close to her. Because I haven't heard anything else about it.
I do wonder if anybody came. That's one thing I
hope
do
somebody
wonder.
did, or if they didn't, that man calmed down. If what she's saying that he did happen.
What she needs to move is number one. Your neighbors are pulling guns on you. To me, I'm very much a type of person. If you find yourself in a dangerous situation, you need to eject yourself from that situation.
Yeah.
As soon as possible. I don't care who it is. If it's family, if it's your husband, it's your wife, your best friend, whoever it is, get the fuck out of Dodge. You don't know how that situation is going to end. Mm-hmm. You might think that they might just be having a bad day today, but shit, they might have a bad day tomorrow too, and then you won't have no more days. So
it makes me think about I love to watch that show on the ID channel, Fear Thy Neighbor. I talk to you about it quite often.
Yeah.
That makes me think about Fear Thy Neighbor, because Fear Thy Neighbor always, in real stories, they just dramatize to show you on TV. But the people, it's one of those things where the person that actually it happened to sits there and they recount their story. Mm-hmm. And then they have the dramatization videos in the background. All of those always start off with a person moving in. This neighbor likes things the way that they have been on that street. They feel some kind of authority over the street. Uh-huh. This person comes in, and it'll be something where, like, for instance, one of them was so it was a street where most people didn't have kids, and if they did, they moved in with teenagers.
Yeah.
Or older than that, whatever. These people had like children, like 8, 10, something like that. And
I might become that neighbor. Bring your babies up here crying.
So the kids were outside playing, and they would play often. They would just play in their little yard. And this was the thing. They were always in their yard. It was never a situation where they were in your backyard, on your fence, on your roof, in your house.
Which does happen.
Yeah. But they were always in their yard. They were very much so, especially because they had a gate. The parents, when they came in, they built the gate, which was also a problem. The neighbor didn't like that they built the gate. Not that they built the gate. They didn't like that they built the gate that was a fence. It wasn't wooden like the rest of the houses. And so they were like,
it's not your property.
Right? Like, bitch, you don't get the fuck out of my face. But again, I told you, he thought he had authority over this street.
Not over my property.
So he was mad about that, and then so they, the kids were playing on the ground or playing in the yard or whatever. One of them, they were like tossing a ball or something, and the ball went and hit his little wood picket fence thing.
Yeah.
Bounced back into the yard. He heard it because he was sitting at the door, at the window, waiting to hear this or to see what they were gonna do. And got pissed off. That thing hit that. He opened that door and was like, "Get the fuck off my lawn!" They're all just in their yard, like, "Are we over there?" So things escalated from there. He just did not want them there. I think the thing that really ate him up, something did fly into his yard. Like, it was in the yard, and instead of them like trying to go knock on his door to get it. Because you could just open the fence and walk in.
Yeah.
But instead of knocking on his door to ask permission to get this out his yard, they just went, opened the gate, got their shit, came back out, went over to the yard.
Yeah.
Child, why he see that and get burnt up? Came back that night, shot that the mother and the father.
I don't know why he thought that was okay.
A lot of those stories ends up like this.
Okay. So did he break into their house?
Yes. He broke into their house. He came, he knocked on the door.
So he didn't think it was okay for them to get their stuff out of his yard, but he thought it was okay for him to commit multiple crimes, breaking and entering, murder, manslaughter, all of that. Because I'm sure he got plenty of counts.
He did. He got plenty of counts. I think they always show like, because somebody died in it when it first starts off because of who's telling the story.
Yeah.
Because this was the kids, I think it was the son and the daughter. There were 3 children, but there was a son and 1 daughter who were talking about the story, but you never saw the mother and father talking about it. I'm like, they didn't got killed. And you just wait until the end to see how they got killed. And then at the end, they'll talk about how they died, and then they're feeling bad about it, and then they'll show if the person went to jail or not. If they're still in there, how long they got left, if it's life, whatever, and show what they look like. And a lot of the times you look at him, you're like, he looks like a fucking not suicidal, but a fucking murderer.
Yeah.
But a lot of those stories end up like that. One dude got mad because it was an apartment complex. And first of all, their doors were like fucking cardboard. I thought it was just the dramatization, but they cut in real video because the guy said he would always film when he felt like an altercation was going to happen with this veteran. The guy was a veteran. He felt like whenever there was going to be an altercation, he wanted to film just in case something popped off. And so they cut to his video. It was like plywood for the door. I was like, no wonder he could kick your damn door down.
That makes me think of my very first apartment. For one thing, I think I told you when I first moved into it, like the window that's my very first apartment had a little balcony, but it was connected to the rest of where anybody could walk onto it. Mm-hmm. So the window that was right there didn't lock. So anybody could have went through it. They had put something in there to make sure it could never be opened. Mm-hmm. But also my door, it was very flimsy. You could. It got worse as time. I lived there for 2 years, and when it got close to when I was getting ready to move, like the doorknob started falling off of it, and so basically it could barely get locked, and anybody could have pushed my door open at any time. Luckily, nobody did. I never had any trouble while I was living there, although it was very unsafe to live there because that door anybody could have knocked down. It literally, because it had one of those top locks, but that door was so flimsy and everything was just falling to pieces on it. And my mother was terrified. But knowing me, you know me, I'm never scared. So I'm just like, shit, if they gonna come in here, they gonna come in here. I could have a whole, like people be with those bolts all the way down the door, and nobody still find a way to come in.
Right.
So, but somehow, because I think that was for the last 2 or 3 months where my door could not really lock.
I'm terrified.
And like literally, if you would reach for it, like the doorknob would come off, like literally in your hand. Like you just push the door on open.
Did they not want to fix it?
They called themselves fixing it, but they never did. When I tell you, the maintenance crew there, because when I first moved there, the door to my bedroom, which is also another flimsy door,
you got plywood too, apparently.
it was plywood, because it was there and they hadn't painted it. They hadn't painted it when I moved in, so they was like, okay, well they're gonna move in. Now me, typically I was living by myself, so I was walking around naked, and when I tell you, they knocked on the door once and opened the door. I'm walking around like booty flapping in the wind, trying to get that motherfucking some clothes on. And finally I put something on and they come in and then they were painting the door. Did a slap ass job. And paint all on my carpet. All types of bullshit. It was terrible. And then, so, when I tell you, these people had to be somebody's baby mama, cousin, brother, sister. Because it just, you can tell these just people that they got, that they could give very low pay to, and they didn't have to, be experienced, because they weren't. They had nobody's experience. Because I remember I told you, within the first week or two of me moving in an apartment, my oven caught on fire.
Oh, yeah.
And
you had lots of issues in your apartment.
It was terrible.
Which is because our first apartment experience, the only issue we had is, which I always tell you about, our sex addict of a neighbor.
Yeah.
That's the only issue we had. I mean, the apartment was not big by any means. It was a 600 square foot apartment. I was not hurt by that at the time. It was enough space for us. But of course, as you grow and you want to buy more things, you need more space. And then of course, with you moving in, we definitely wanted more space.
Yeah.
But the only issue, because a lot of people look back at their first apartment, it's most of the time, because you're budgeting and you can't really afford too much.
Yeah.
People's experiences are terrible. The only issue, and it wasn't even until Aaron was about to move in, because remember I told you, I remember there was some people living there before, but they never made much noise. I saw them every now and then. I was only there for a few months before Aaron moved in. I remember the night I was going to get on the plane to fly to Virginia to drive back with him. I was laying in the bed, and I just heard, you know when you hear a bed.
Yeah, you know what that sounds like.
Yeah, there's movement on beds, and then there's some movement on beds.
Doing a horizontal tango.
Right. And so I'm sitting there, and I was like, is that sex? And so then because my bed at the time was right on the wall. So I'm just laying there, and I'm listening. I'm like, this sounds like sex. And then I heard the woman moaning. I was like, this is sex. And after that, I was like, oh, well, I hadn't heard this until now. I didn't really think anything of it. But then Aaron moved in, and every fucking night, and I don't know if I talked about this on the podcast before, but every fucking night he was having sex. And it was not just every night. If we were in the living room during the day, which we didn't really spend a lot of time in the living room unless somebody was over. Yeah. If we were in the living room just up in there for some reason, or let's say Aaron's cooking or I'm cooking, and the other person just on the couch to talk. Yeah. If you weren't really talking or doing anything, you could hear him in the living room beating it off. And I'm just moaning. Do you need to make noise for every iteration of your penis, sir? You would be up in there just jacking, you hear him going, I'm just
the thing is, I don't get that, because I feel like moaning's for the other person. When I'm by myself, I don't make any noise. Yeah. But when somebody's with me, then you make noise. You want to make it appealing. Yeah. But I don't see the point of by yourself. Now, when I was in my first apartment, I had this one neighbor, and I don't know if I ever told you about it. Her name was Love, and I didn't meet her until after Kyle moved in with me. And so Kyle and I moved in, and we were living together. And one day we were asleep or something, or trying to watch TV. She knocked on the door, and I had never seen her before, but she lived right next to us. And she came over. And she asked to use our phone or whatever, and she called some dude and was asking him when he was coming over.
Anytime somebody
and she did that, and she left. And the thing is, we would only see her periodically, but I swear she was like an escape from the psych ward. Oh my God. Because there would be times when she would be missing for months, and then she'll come up. You'll see her all the time. I know one time I was at work.
Did she live with someone?
I don't know what was going on in that apartment. Child, it's a story. Now, she, one time Kyle called me while I was at work, and he said he had saw her. He was he was coming back after he had dropped me off, and she was walking around outside naked. Oh. And he was like, Yeah. She was like, yeah, I was going up the stairs and she just walked up to me and she started talking to me naked. Like it was nothing.
Fully clothed.
And there was one point, in the apartment across from her, my cousin and her mama had moved in over there. And I didn't even know it. They had moved. My cousin was living over there for like a couple of months and I didn't even know. The only way I found out that she was living over there because she got locked out of her apartment. And I had some friends over for movie night because I would have movie night like every other Friday. And the ones, because, I didn't allow smoking in my apartment. So the ones that would smoke, they were outside on the balcony and they saw a girl. And I was like, there's a girl out here who's locked out of her apartment. And I was like, well, let me come out and see. And I was like, Nick, what are you doing over here? And she was like, I live right here. I was like, oh, when did that happen? So... and then my auntie had moved in with her for a little while, and they said they saw her sitting in a tree. Sitting in a tree. They was like, she was swinging from the trees. And I was like, what is happening?
God.
And there was one day it was like early in the morning, like crack of dawn. She was out on her balcony, screaming on top of her lungs, talking about some, Jesus loves me. And I was like, girl, what is happening?
Man, please calm this down. Go to church.
I think eventually she got evicted. But then, I swear, I don't know if she got evicted or not, but she went missing. And I think that she went to somebody's rehab center and escaped. Because she had came back, but she had busted through the window. Oh. And so she was up in there. I don't know if was in there where she did. No, the apartment was empty. Okay. And so she was just in there.
Could you imagine being in your bed, somebody breaking in, like, this used to be my apartment. Like, oh my God, please don't come in here.
And then there was one night, me and Kyle were watching a movie, and we were laying in the bed, and we heard like a struggle. Because, the one thing about apartments is that you don't too much hear what's going on in the apartment inside. But then as soon as they're outside, you hear everything. So they were out there. And this girl, I don't even know who it was. I don't know if it was her or if it was another girl. I think it was, she had left and it was like some other people that moved in. There was some younger people. Mm-hmm. It was like a couple of people. And so a dude had brought her over to the apartment and, I'm assuming she didn't want to have sex with him. Mm-hmm. And but he took her phone. And she was like, please just give me my phone. I want to go home. Just give me my phone so I can go home. Please give me my phone. He was like, no, you owe me $5. And then it went into that. And she was like, $5? What you talking about? It was for some gas or something. I guess for the gas that he drove her there. I don't know. And so she was like, no, I don't owe you no $5. Give me my phone. Just give me my phone. She was crying. And I was quite disturbed, and Kyle was like, Kyle has a gun for one thing, and he had got his gun. He's got to go out there. I said, Kyle, don't insert yourself in that.
Please don't.
You don't know what's gonna happen. And so I was like, call the police. And so he had called the police, but he kept like being next to the door because he wanted to go out there so bad because Kyle wanted to be a cop. And I was like, don't go out there. Don't do nothing. Call the police. So he called the police, and they said they'd come out there. But so the thing just got worse and worse. She kept screaming. He kept saying, "No, you ain't going nowhere." And I mean, this is like Horton hears domestic violence. Remember, like literally, because she was screaming, "Please give me my phone! Please give me my phone! I just want to go home." He was like, "No, you owe me money, blah blah blah, whatever." And he was like, "You ain't getting your phone. You ain't getting your phone." And all of a sudden, you heard a scuffle. And then you heard her scream. And then you heard two people run off and to the woods. And they never came back. Literally, they never came back. I went out. I remember waking up the next morning and walking out and looking, and the door was wide open. They never came back.
Oh my God.
I don't know what happened. I don't know who survived. But they never came back. I was terrified.
I would have some issues. Even with the motherfucking sex addict, the most eventful thing was that, so he was married, or at least had a ongoing relationship.
Yeah.
Who he was hiding his sex addiction from. Because I don't know what kind of job she had. I never was able to gather that. But it was always that we knew her because she had the same car. And she parked in their parking spot. She would park in their parking spot. She would get out her car, walk in. She was a very short, she was kind of thick lady. She had this long, gorgeous black hair. We knew her when we saw her. And she would only come back at night. So I guess she worked early in the day. And then sometimes she wouldn't even be there. I feel like she would leave and be gone for a few days and then come back. Yeah. Because we never saw her that much. When she was gone, every motherfucking night it would be a different woman, and every night they would always have that window open. And be having sex, and his women he fucked would always think that they some kind of porn star and be moaning. I'm just like, I know it ain't that good. I know it ain't that good. I just refuse to believe that it's that good. And again, so like I said, he did this multiple times. So he would fuck at night. We would hear it at night. Then we sometimes twice that night. Then we'll wake up in the morning or the afternoon. We hear him in the living room masturbating, or we hear him in the bedroom masturbating. And then that night he'd be fucking again. I was like, I don't see how you can go this many.
Your dick must be numb,
right? Like, you can't feel nothing. I don't know why you moaning.
Me, when I have a lot of sex back to back, because when me and Kyle first started having sex, Kyle was a virgin, and we first started having sex, and it was like back to back. Sometimes he wanted to have sex 3, 4, 5 times a day, and then like every day that week. And got to the point where I was like, my dick is swollen. I am going on a break. He eventually, because he was so insatiable, he had to buy himself a dildo. Mm-hmm. And so he would do that. And I remember one day, I guess he was fucking himself on it in the shower before he was picking me up from work.
Yeah.
And then Otha came in there because he still had a key to my apartment at the time. And saw it in the shower and screamed. And
what the fuck you screamed for?
I don't know.
Bottom too.
He had a dildo himself. So then I remember when we got back to the apartment, and I was like, whose dildo was in the shower? And Kyle was so embarrassed.
I'm like, mine, this my motherfucking house,
child,
bitch.
He ran in there and got it and hid it. And I was like, child, well, everybody know now. Like,
at least you were able to realize and say, look, my dick is numb. We can't be doing all this. It's raw.
I was
swollen.
like, it's too much.
This man never one time, and then we were there for like a year and a half, if not 2 years, that he was always doing this. Like I said, he was cheating on that woman. And I remember one night she came back and she had to have found out. He must have left somebody's panties up in the air, or that woman didn't take her shit, whatever it was. She found out. Because Aaron and I were laying there, and this was like probably the last month that Aaron and I were in that apartment. We had already knew we had put our like 60-day notice in. It was like the last month, and we got excited because we heard them fighting, and I was like, oh, child, maybe this is gonna be the thing to make his ass stop, or at least move out, something. I don't know, but they got into a fight, and you hear them like screaming because their window was open. You hear them screaming and yelling. She was like, I can't fucking stand you. I can't trust you. I leave for such and such whatever, and I come back and you got hoes in my house.
You got hoes in my house.
Because she was a little short Hispanic woman.
Yeah.
But she was like, you got hoes in my house. And he was like, baby. Like, he never said he did not do it.
baby. I'm just a man.
And so it was like a good, I want to say 30 minutes of them like, I want to say them fighting, but it was more of her cussing him out. Yeah. And then I think he got to the point where he did not want to hear it no more. And we heard bumps on the walls, things being thrown into walls, and her screaming and him grunting. And I was like, do we need to call the police? And so I opened the window because I know people love to say don't get involved in it. I wasn't going to go over there. Yeah. But I opened the window because if I would have heard her sound like she was being like, if I could have heard like a and she's screaming, I would have called the police. I'm like, I don't want to hear no woman getting domestically abused.
Yeah.
So but I could not make it because they both were making noises. Like it had to be something where they were like, tit for tat, bitch. Yeah. You hit me, I'm gonna hit you back.
It's like Tina Turner in that limo.
Yeah.
She's like, that's all you got.
So it gets to the point, I think that lasted for a good like 5 minutes. And then it got quiet. And like weirdly quiet from what just like happened before that. Yeah. And then it was like her just crying, like sobbing. And then you hear him like, we'll get through it.
We'll get through it. No, the fuck we won't. You gonna get through this alone, bitch.
And then after maybe a few minutes of that,
don't tell me they were fucking.
Yes.
Oh my god.
You heard her. And I was like, close them like that. no, we don't hit it. We got excited. Like I said, we thought it was going to be the end of the situation.
Yeah.
No, it just exacerbated it.
I think, you know, it's like those type of couples that do all this shit just so they can have makeup sex. Because people swear makeup sex is best sex. I've never had makeup sex. I don't know what that's like.
I don't get into those kind of altercations with my significant other for it to be considered makeup sex. Now, it may be something we get irritated with each other, but I don't even think that's makeup sex. That'll be something where it's like, it's better because that aggression is being taken out. Yeah. But for me, I wouldn't be able to detach my mind because I'm such a, I won't say I'm very vindictive, but I don't forget shit easily. So if we were just in this room screaming and yelling at each other, cussing each other out and fighting the way that they were doing. Yeah. And you think I'm about to fuck you?
Now, me personally, I've never had a blow-for-blow fight with any type of significant other. But, I mean, you'll have arguments. But we have argument, you better know. You ain't doing shit tonight. You gotta be glad if I talk to you. So no, I don't understand that. But you know, I know people swear. I think people just like rough sex. And my thing is, you don't have to. I mean, I like rough sex. Yeah. But I ain't gotta fight you to do it.
Yeah. I mean, just say, can we have it? Can we do it rougher tonight? Why is that such an issue? Why you gotta pick a fight?
I mean, most of my sex is rough anyway. If you having sex with me, you better be prepared for some rough sex. But the thing is that it's because to me, it's not the roughness of it; it's the passion of it. And I feel like when you're passionate, it's gonna get kind of So, and I'm a passionate person, and it comes with being a Scorpio. Period. Yeah. But because as soon as like I start talking to somebody and they find I'm a Scorpio, I say, "Oh, you passionate." They say, "Get to that real quick."
I was talking to somebody before we cut out of here. I was talking to somebody, Ashley, at work, and we were discussing. It was me, Ashley, and Christina. They were talking about the houses in Harry Potter. Yeah. And I think Christina has said that her boyfriend is Ravenclaw. Mm-hmm. Am I right? Is that the right name? Yeah. Oh yeah. I'll be feeling like I'm making up names. She said her boyfriend is Ravenclaw, and
that's Aaron.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, my fiance is Ravenclaw, and then Ashley said that she was not Hufflepuff, Gryffindor. She said she was Gryffindor. And I was like, oh, I'm a good old Slytherin. I was like, I knew I was a Slytherin before I took the test to find out I was a Slytherin. And she was like, what are you, a Scorpio? And I was like, yes. And she was like, I knew it. She's like, I can see it in you. And she was like, I was leaning between Scorpio and, did she say Leo? I think she said Leo. Leo for you. And she was like, but I understand it's Scorpio. And then I was like, and my best friend is, and I was like, I want to say Gryffindor. But I want to say Hufflepuff too. I was like, it's one of them. But Gryffindor came into my head, and then Hufflepuff came into my head because I was like, Solomon's a Hufflepuff, and I feel like I remember you saying that you were too. Mm-hmm. That's why. Okay, so my mindset was on track. And I was like, I remember specifically. I was like, I have another friend that's Hufflepuff, and I know that Chemo was finding things in common with him because he was also Hufflepuff. For some reason, Gryffindor is screaming in my head.
I don't think I know any Gryffindors.
I don't think when we talk about like people that have done the houses, everybody usually is Hufflepuff or Ravenclaw.
A lot of people, I know a lot of Ravenclaws.
Which is weird because they barely have Ravenclaw shit.
Yeah, Ravenclaw is barely in the books, except for you get to, because Luna Lovegood is a Ravenclaw, and then you get to the whole thing when they're looking for the diadem, and that's a Ravenclaw trinket thingy, and that's the only time they really, really get into Ravenclaw. But other than that, you don't really see nothing about it. It's like whatever. But we can end the podcast here. This has been a whirlwind.
Yes. It's been a long time and a lot of things came up, so I did enjoy it. I'm going to go ahead and listen to it, of course. You know I am. I would probably, because I've been listening, like I said, I've been listening to Solomon's podcast as well. He only has 6 episodes up. The latest one came out on Wednesday, I think.
You know what, now that I think about it, I remember him posting about it on Facebook because I remember seeing you comment about having one, and then he was like, oh, I want to listen to y'all's too.
Yeah. I have sent it to Rania too. She was talking about how she had just listened to the Aladdin one. And I was like, I don't remember anything we talked about.
We talked about Aladdin?
I listened to them, but I don't specifically remember the episode as much as like bits and pieces. I'll be like, I think this is in this episode. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and end it here. You got any final notes, Kimo Kyo?
Don't be racist.
Don't be racist. Don't be a bigot. And live your extra life. Bye.
Oh, it just made me think of Brad Mundell, and I want to have sex with him.
Oh.